Welcome back to my channel for a very short, very quick tutorial again on user profiles, because I sense in comments that people write to me that there is a bit of confusion out there how some of these concepts work. And in this video, I will explain this very, very quickly, and hopefully it helps those of you who drop me a comment, send me a direct message and ask for help. Let's kick this off. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please do so. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, support my work. Many thanks for that. All right, let me describe the problem. And by the way, I think I will do this from time to time. I'm actually happy to do this if I see that a certain question is addressed several times in comments or even via direct messages to my email account. Then I think it's time to provide a very quick video, because that explains more than 1,000 words. And I want to pick one example here. So the comment came from Dakota Jules, and I also replied to her. And it's concerning user profiles in the following way. People set up user profiles, they follow my tutorial. I post the link down below in the info box so you can look this up. And then they change a single setting, and then the user profile changes in the icon representation in the control screen. And I will demonstrate it for two camera systems, what's going on here. The first is the Leica M11P here, my Safari edition with a Safari lens, by the way, a beautiful 50mm lens here. And then I will show you kind of the same pattern for the Leica Q3 SL3, and it will be exactly the same also for the Leica SL3. So hopefully this will help to get rid of the confusion. And the question Dakota Jules is asking is really a relevant one. This is a really good point, and I think Leica made this overall again a bit confusing, and I hope I can clarify what's going on here in the camera settings. All right, let's get ready to work. And let's switch on the Leica M11P, and let me show to you what I believe what people are discovering, seeing, experiencing, and why this is strange. But let me then try to explain what's underlying it and what's behind. And you see a user profiles, I go to the default profile, and I will now change three particular settings we can easily remember, store them in a new user profile, and then show you the phenomenon people are describing to me in comments and direct messages. And the first one I want to change is the metering method. I'm here in multi-field, and I will change this from default multi-field into spot. That's the first change. The second change, you see here the Wi-Fi symbol. I want to deactivate the Leica Photos app, and we go here to Leica Photos. On the default profile, this is in performance mode. We go here and switch this off. That's the second change. And the third change I do under storage management. That's right here below Leica Photos in the menu entries. And we go here to DNG and JPEG on internal memory and SD card. And we store this here. So we have now internal memory in sync with the SD card. That's the three changes I want to make here. And now let's store this as a user profile. And let's go here to user profiles. This is here, the second entry on page number 4. And then we go all the way down to manage profiles, and we say save as profile, and we save it under user number 1. Save as profile 1. Yes, it's saved. Let's go back here. Let's rename it so we can identify it. Let's say this is now test, T-E-S and T. Let's store it under that name, and now we are good to go. And this is the set of changes I made, and on here I'm now in user profile number 1. I'm no longer in user profile default, but in user profile number 1 with 3 changes from here compared to here. Let's quickly verify the changes we made. Let's go here to the default profile, and then we see here we are on multi-field. We see in the Leica Photos app, we are on performance mode, and on the storage management, we are on SD plus internal. Now let's go back into the control screen. Let's change it to the profile we just stored, profile number 1. And now you see we are here on spot metering. That's the first change we did. You see the Wi-Fi symbol here vanished. And on the Leica Photos app, we are on off. And on storage management, we are no longer on internal plus SD, but internal equal to SD. So we verified that this is really the user profile with 3 changes we set up in contrast to the default profile of the Leica M11P. Now the change that Dakota Jewel is describing in her comment is that she changed now one setting and she switched here from ISO automatic into M and then manually set up an ISO value in the control screen. So let's do this. Let's verify that we are still in profile number 1. Yes, we are. This is the test profile. So let's go to the ISO dial. Let's pull it up and let's switch it here. And by the way, let's get the control screen up and running so you see this. I'm still in the user profile 1, which we set up together a moment ago. Let's switch into M. Let's lock it down. And we are still in M. And now let's manually change the ISO. And we go here and set it to a value of, let's say, 5000. Okay. And you see what happened here. All of a sudden, user profile 1 is gone and we are back in a different profile, but not in S. You see that? Let me go back here. Let me show you. This is not the default profile. And what people describe to me is it switches if I change from a user profile I set up one single setting into something different, it switches into the default profile. But this is not the default profile. The default profile has here an S, and S very likely stands for standard. And that's not what's set up here. What you basically have here is, let's call it a hybrid user profile. And the hybrid user profile is your profile number 1, but with a changed ISO value from auto ISO into a manual ISO value of 4000. That's what we have here. All the other settings from user profile number 1, they are still preserved. If you go here, we still have spot metering. We still have the Leica Photos app off. And we still have storage management in internal equals SD card. So the only thing we changed is one particular setting from automatic mode into M and then manually dialed in an ISO value of 4000. And all of a sudden we are in an undefined user profile icon here. It's not the default profile, which is S, and it's not user profile number 1. But it's basically, we could call this user profile number 1 with changes, okay? So let me quickly make this confusion very explicit, and it's a highly justified confusion in my opinion. You came from a profile you set up, profile number 1. You changed one setting on ISO from automatic to manual and dialed in the manual ISO value of 4000, and all of a sudden the 1 is gone, and what you see here is just a user profile icon without any number. But be aware, it's not the default user profile. Otherwise, there would appear an S in a circular shape here, and that's not the case. And by the way, be aware that this icon is not available by choice. If we go here and tap, you see either default profile or profile number 1, 2, 3, and so on. There's always on the user icon a little circle with some additional information on it. Not so here. Because what the camera tells you, if there is no number and no circle with an S for the default profile in it, what the camera tells you with this icon is you came from profile number 1, you made a couple of changes, and now you have something different. And your option is now to store it as, let's say, user profile number 2, or adopt it for user profile number 1. And then in user profile number 1, you no longer have here an A, but an M, and your ISO value is manually set to an ISO of 4000, and so on and so on. But that's what's going on here. And I think what confuses people is that they think that this is now the default profile, but it's not, because all the changes we made in profile number 1, they are still preserved. The metering is spot, the Leica Photos app is on off, and the storage management is on simultaneously storing everything in internal memory and on the SD card. And that's what I wanted to quickly show. I think that's easier. And since I got really repeatedly this question, I thought it's time to make you aware of the difference between the default profile icon, which has an S, and the icon we get if we come from a user profile we set up by ourselves and change a couple of settings. And that icon will appear if I even change more settings. Let's say here on auto white balance, I go now to daylight. Then you still have this icon here, which has no circle, no S in it. So it's not the default profile, no 1, 2, 3, or 5 in a circle. And just shows you that you modified a user profile, namely profile number 1, but it is not yet stored again in profile number 1 and also not in any other user profile. And that's the way it works. This icon you get if you come from a user profile, make changes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, no matter how many changes. And before you not store it in a user profile, the same or some spare other user profile, it will appear in that way. But it's, as said repeatedly now, not the default profile, because then it would carry a circle with an S. Leica Q3 cameras behave in exactly the same way. Let me quickly show you, and then you will hopefully believe me that even the Leica SL3, SL3S, and SL3P behave in that way. So let's go here into user profiles. And I have here only one profile set up, and that profile has not the user profiles on one of these 8 soft buttons. So let's switch into the default profile and quickly create a test profile. Let's go here. Where is user profiles? Here we go. Let's say default. And now you will see in the control screen, we have actually here a soft button for user profiles. And now let's make a few changes here, and let's quickly store them as a profile. And the first one is here, let's go to IAF, which is a really stupid choice, which I never use. So let's use it for this test profile. Let's see here, we have field spot. Let's go to tracking. That's the third change. And here, let's go to human eye, face, body. No, let's go to animals. Okay, 3 changes in the same way. Let's go to user profiles and let's manage them. Let's save this as a profile. I go now to user 2. I don't want to destroy my setup profile math photo here. Let's say we go into this and we save it as profile number 2. And let's also give it a proper name. Let's say this is now test, in the same way as we did it on the Leica M11P. Let's go to capital letters, T, E, an S. Sorry, I'm not good. Fat fingers, test. Let's store it. All right, that's it. Now let's go back here. We have in this new profile here still on the soft button user profiles, and we have default. And we have math photo, that's my and only my profile, and we have test. So let's go into test, let's choose it. And now you see it also shows you the number here, user 2. It's not in a circle, the number, as we have it on the Leica M11P, because the graphical user interface is not fully convergent between Leica M cameras and the Leica Q3 and SL cameras in the most recent version. But we have now profile number 2. And as before, when on the M11P we changed the ISO settings, let's now make a change here. And let's say, just for illustrative purposes, on drive mode, we go to intervalometer. Just one change. And now this icon changed. All of a sudden, in the upper right-hand side corner, next to the head of the user icon, we see an asterisk or a star. And this is not profile number 2. Watch how profile number 2, our test profile, looks. There's no asterisk, no star, but the profile you have now is actually profile number 2 with an additional indicated asterisk or star on the upper right hand side corner, because the camera tells you you started from profile number 2, but you made changes, for instance, here on the drive mode. So this works in exactly the same way as on the Leica M11P. And by the way, to complete this, this is again not the default profile. The default profile is this icon here, but has no star. Here we have an asterisk or a star. Okay, so again, I will conclude here for the Leica SL3, you have kind of the same behavior. And I hope the confusion is solved once and for all times, at least for those who watch this video. If you liked that video, don't forget to drop me your thumbs up. Stay tuned on my channel. There's always more to come. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and healthy. And of course, peace out.